Effective UI and UX design is unfortunately manipulative. Of course, that's not true for every case of effective design, but the trait that all UI and UX design shares is that when it's functioning effectively, it tends to disappear into the main functionality of a given design, and the user doesn't even notice it. Think of something like the infinite scroll of your Instagram feed, the difference between a bright blue button versus a black button, or even the random fees that get tacked on the end of whatever you've just ordered online. Design Lab defines this design element as, quote, dark patterns, which are, quote, design elements that trick users into actions they might not intend, like subscribing to a service or making a purchase. Things like the endless scroll of Instagram that you find yourself trapped in, whatever Ticketmaster means by a convenience fee, or a big shiny discount that tells you it's going to expire in 24 hours. These are all dark patterns within design. These are features that we have grown so accustomed to in the digital realm that we don't tend to think twice about when we encounter them. The effectiveness of them tends to make them disappear. Two examples of very strong dark patterns can be found within the aforementioned infinite scroll and within modern video games. The Interaction Design Foundation defines infinite scrolling as, quote, an interaction design pattern in which a page loads content as the user scrolls down, allowing the user to explore a large amount of content with no distinct end, quote. It's typically used on social media platforms where the content on them isn't sorted in any specific order and has no specific structure. It's perfect for mobile apps, as the action of your thumb scrolling is something we have all grown accustomed to when using a phone, and it's even more perfect for keeping the user trapped in a loop of scrolling, as there's no definite end of content, keeping the user engaged with the platform simply by scrolling. Instagram is the most notorious platform for this design pattern, as they use the nature of the scroll to insert suggested content and advertisements between actual posts on your feed, making it so a user will see sponsored content simply through the motion of using the intended feature of the app. This means the user is simply unable to opt out of seeing any sort of advertisements or sponsored content plastered on their page. Evidently, this is a design pattern that, unfortunately, works. In a survey published by the Pew Research Center, over 50% of Americans report using Instagram, and 84% and 71% respectively report using YouTube and Facebook, with YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram being in first, second, and third place for usage. The same demographic of US adults sees them going on these apps several times a day, with Facebook seeing percentages at 37% and YouTube at 33%, both platforms having an infinite scroll implemented. As mentioned prior, the other strong design dark pattern can be seen in much of modern video games through certain features like cosmetics or limited time events. Wordle and Zendel define loot boxes as items that may be bought for real-world money, but which contain randomized contents whose value is uncertain at the point of purchase. Quote, this design element is prevalent in video games like Overwatch or FIFA, whereby either purchasing the, quote, loot box with real-world money or earning it in the game, players have the opportunity to receive new cosmetic appearances for their character in the game or for a character with improved stats. This dark pattern has effectively disguised those loot boxes as gambling, as the nature of a loot box makes it so the experience of opening one is completely random each time, and oftentimes a company will not disclose the odds of winning a certain item via the boxes. The alternative to the practice of loot boxes isn't much better either, as James Davenport for PC Gamer describes them in relation to the game Fortnite as, quote, a new pass every 3 months or so. For just under $10, players get access to hundreds of tiers of rewards, ranging from XP bonuses to brand new character skins, quote. Davenport also notes that the difference between a battle pass and a loot box is that, quote, players know everything they can get and what's required to earn them from day one. The difference is that there's no guarantee they'll have the time or skill to earn it all, end quote. As opposed to the randomness of the loot box element, the battle pass makes it so you either get your money's worth by playing the game to unlock the content you want, or you don't play enough and the content you paid to have the ability to earn will forever be restricted, as it was only earnable through that specific battle pass period. On paper, it seems to be a better solution to loot boxes, but the negatives associated with the battle pass design start to mount when you can exchange real money in order to advance through the tiers. A missed week or two of playing the game might mean you don't receive the rewards you wanted, so if you wanted to earn the rewards, you'll have to pay more money than the previous $10 entry fee on top of playing the game frequently to earn the rewards, staying in the intended gameplay loop, and spending money. Ultimately, these design elements are unfortunately very effective. A survey created by the aforementioned Wordle and Zendel, the Emerging Adults Gambling Survey, found that for those in the Great Britain area who have purchased gaming loot boxes in the year prior to the survey, 62% identified as gamblers in the past year, 26% in the week prior, and that buyers were spending a mean of £19 on loot boxes each week, equivalent to around $25 US. Those who hadn't purchased loot boxes saw much smaller numbers, 39% gambling in the past year, 4.8% the week prior, and around £5 spent on loot boxes each week, equivalent to around $7 US. The dark pattern of loot boxes is no different than gambling with real money, and it is evidently an effective design as seen via the amount of returning buyers to the digital casino. In terms of the infinite scroll, social media platforms with a very notable infinite scroll are in high percentages of usage by adults in the United States, as reported by the Pew Research Center. It's a hard trap not to fall into, but it can be avoided by being more mindful of your digital presence. Dark patterns on social media can be avoided by limiting yourself to only a certain amount of screen time per day or blocking accounts that seem to be advertisement heavy. In terms of dark patterns within video games, oftentimes cosmetic items that are locked behind a battle pass or loot box are no more than just cosmetics, with no real effect on the game. By staying aware and setting healthy boundaries by recognizing dark patterns, we can avoid them and stay in control of our own digital experiences.